Hey y'all, it's Pam with Living in Charlottesville. I grabbed my Starbucks and I'm ready to tell you about the best place when raising a family, Charlottesville, Virginia. Thanks for stopping by. If this is your first time to the channel, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. Anytime I have new information, you'll be notified immediately and you won't miss a beat about living in Charlottesville. So, who am I? My name is Pam Worley and I am a realtor here in Charlottesville, Virginia. I have actually grown up here, was not born here, but was raised here and have lots and lots of history. So I've lived around the area. I've lived in other places of the Commonwealth, and I've always come back to home, which is Charlottesville, Virginia. And I wanted to tell you because I came across a great article talking about best places. It had a list of best places to raise a family. And one of those was Charlottesville, Virginia. So let's talk about it. Okay, so if your baby, your family involves two-legged babies, I guess is the best way to put it, because I love my fur babies, but they're not going to be going to and getting education. So Charlottesville values education. Huge, huge thing for Charlottesville. And they really do try to put that and instill that within the families that are raising kids here in Charlottesville, Virginia. City of Charlottesville offers one of the best curriculums involving the community that you're going to find around the country. As a matter of fact, you can see by these numbers that they always rank really well for education. Not only is it just that, but it's also the way they have a total of 9 schools. But then what they do is they also separate out and have additional resources. One of those resources would be the Charlottesville Albemarle Technical Center, which is actually located in Albemarle County. But the city of Charlottesville is right hands in. That's going to give you your culinary, your beauty, your automotive, and construction. Actually, the construction program does a really cool thing where they build a house and then they auction it off to help raise funds for the program. So again, big thing. The other thing they do is they have a hospital education program, and at the University of Virginia Children's Center, which is beautiful and fabulous. And within the schools, they offer a range of services and special needs. And one of the programs they also offer is the Lugo McGinnis Academy, and they partner with other organizations within the city of Charlottesville. So education, big for the city of Charlottesville. And those are the public aspects. So all those were public. Then you get into private schools. We have the full gamut of private schools. Again, everything from all girls schools, all boys school, Montessori, Waldorf, Catholic, Christian, really the full gamut schools. There's going to be some best fit for you and your two-legged baby that can come here for education. We also have some really great training for our four-legged babies because Charlottesville is also huge for their pets. So that's really sweet too. A lot of really great trainers, a lot of really great places that you can either attend classes, private trainers, or actually boarding facilities that train while they are there. Finally, homeschooling. I've mentioned it before. It was something that I was not familiar with. And every year, because I have a daughter who I came up in the public schools. My daughter was in the public schools mostly, but there came a point where the school wasn't about the best match. And we ended up getting involved with a homeschooling curriculum. And now that was not me because teachers are amazing and awesome. And I do not have that kind of patience or knowledge, but the homeschooling group that we got involved in was absolutely spectacular. And when I got involved with it, I realized how big homeschooling is in the Charlottesville community. there's a lot of reasons you could homeschool. You could homeschool for religious reasons, which I think most people think of most often. And we do have groups that focus on religious homeschooling. But there's also homeschooling due to health. If your child is compromised, immunocompromised, they may not be able to be involved with the exterior, school system, because let's face it, doesn't matter where the school system is, it's a little petri dish, especially this time of the year. Also with sports, we have a ton of students who are involved with homeschooling because of playing travel soccer, or they ride professionally with equestrian circuits, things like that. And then my daughter, for example, was involved mostly with homeschooling because it was the right fit at the right time. But also she actually had an agent and was working and doing filming. And so because obviously they're filming when school's in session, that's one of the reasons we got involved. But there's so many resources for homeschoolers. So it doesn't matter why, but education. Number one reason to raise a family in Charlottesville, Virginia. So reason number two, that Charlottesville is amazing and always ends up on a lot of lists, especially for raising a family, raising children, that involves the lifestyles. What am I talking about lifestyles? What I mean is it actually piggybacks really well with the education that I was just talking about. But Charlottesville has an amazing outside the book, outside the school offerings. I mentioned it before with some of the homeschoolers. There's a huge equestrian community here. So whether that's riding, whether that's showing, whatever it is. We also have King Family Vineyards does polo matches. Not that would pull your kids out of school, but again, it shows you that level of equestrian involvement within the community. I mentioned it before. We have travel soccer programs. We have professionally oriented programs. So all of those kind of activities are another reason, because not only is it the education, but it's the supplemental that makes family and children whole. You can't just look at one thing or another. We also have a huge involvement with golf. We have a first tee program, and we have swimming outdoors is going to be May through September or October. But we have a lot of indoor pools that actually support swim teams. The level for high school and for several of the high schools have swim teams involvement. Many of the private schools have swim team involvement. The University of Virginia has an amazing swim team and dive team. So all of that, again, is feeding into and from the community. So again, for really well-rounded area for supporting a child and a family with going through life. The education, the activities, nice. Okay, sorry, I'm having to get a drink. Number 3. You've heard me say it before, you're going to hear me say it again. Location, and location, okay? The area is so conducive to several aspects of it. So it's large enough, Charlottesville is large enough with the surrounding counties to offer a huge variety of services, activities, things along that nature. But for the next level, we are a 45-minute drive to Richmond, 45 minutes to an hour, depending where in Richmond. And actually, the Richmond airport's an hour and a half, but that's another story. So Richmond, they have the Children's Museum, they have the Science Museum, they have a huge, they're just next level. It's a major city, okay? It's the capital of Virginia. So you have a lot of activities that would be supportive, but you can easily drive there and be there and back after enjoying the activities on a day. So that's not a big deal. Same with going up north. Going up north, you're going to be going up into Washington, D.C. I mean, especially with schooling in the D.C. area. Beyond the government, all the Smithsonian Institutes, all the history, all the monuments, you can just walk around for hours and hours and days, I dare say, and just see things new every single time. But the last time I was up in DC, I actually saw a couple of new monuments that had been erected since I had really been involved with and looking at monuments. So it's still changing, still evolving. You could take the train up, super simple to take the train up and back, same day. They actually have a commuter type Amtrak that does that. You can also take the bus, like you can take a bus and you pay, I want to say it's like $29, $39 round trip. And it takes you up to DC and then picks you up at the same place. And of course you can drive, because who doesn't love driving in Washington, DC? Just saying. Okay, so then that brings us to number 4, which is, in my book, I'm going to put down, is a diverse culture. We see stuff going on all the time, all around the world, unfortunately. Very thrilled to say that Charlottesville and the community are very, very welcoming, and they are a diverse culture. We actually do have a section of International Rescue Committee that relocates refugees into our area. The community supports them, and the community provides things that they may need for setting up a household, setting up for their education, whatever it is. But it's a diverse area. Actually, we get a diversity score. We have a Charlottesville diversity score of 90, and that is 90 out of 100. Charlottesville is much more diverse than other U.S. cities, and the most diverse area within Charlottesville proper boundaries is to the north of the city. The least, you would say, is to the northwest parts of the city of Charlottesville, and that is coming from the U.S. Census proprietary data mapping and analysis. So great diversity. Coming up, number 5, 5th best reason to raise a family here. And that was actually, this is one of the articles that caught my attention. Outside Magazine has named Charlottesville as the 5th happiest place to live in the United States. And that actually, as you can see, came out in September of this year. So that is not some weird old fact that I pulled out from the archives. That is this past September, Outside Magazine named Charlottesville as the 5th happiest place to live. So happiness is huge. You know it, I know it. I mean, there are certain communities, you hear about them, many of the communities I've seen, and when I hear their name, I think of them being as gray and depressing, and I would never, ever consider living there. But Charlottesville actually has a great all-around vibe in supporting with being happy. No matter what the background, whichever side of life you're coming in from, we're a welcoming community. And the reason we're welcoming is because we've all been there, done that. And we just want to move forward and raise the best next generation we can and enjoy and be happy now. So there you go. That was number 5, was happiness. So the accolades, the best of list, whatever, they abound, and they all mention Charlottesville and the community and area here. So that's why I wanted to do this. I wanted you to see why we are one of the best places for raising a family. And that family, it doesn't matter what it is. Is it just 2 retirees? Yeah, we hit the great retirement list all the time. Is it a family of 4? Is it a family of 8? There's nothing surprising here. Is it a family, whether it is 2 moms, 2 dads, whatever. I mean, it's families. Families are family here. And honestly, that's another reason that a lot of celebrities live here. We just don't take a second look because it doesn't affect us. So what if it's Dave Matthews? You know, he grew up here, he played here, he worked here, and yeah, you know, it is what it is. So I would say, if I can help you make living in Charlottesville part of your future, what I want you to do is I want you to send me an email, give me a call, or even shoot me a text. That's what I do. I work with people all the time with relocating, actually to and from the area, because it is a big deal. Next year, it's going to be a feeding frenzy because I believe the rates are going to be dropping down, and the pent-up release of demand for buyers is going to be huge. So you definitely want somebody on your side that has your best interest, that has your fiduciary responsibility in their corner, and you want to be able to trust that person. And I hope that that's me. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. But I would love to help you, and I'd love to actually chat with you to see if we are a good fit, see what I can do to help you. And another big thing, if you've liked this video, you got anything out of it, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it because I like to know that there are people actually out there watching. I do get comments, get lots of comments, but it's nice to know that people are watching and that this is the material you want to hear about. Leave me a comment if there's something I'm not hitting on that you want me to cover. Somebody made a comment that they wanted to know more about the healthcare system. So that is on my to-do list. People have asked me, obviously, about relocating here with families, so I try to get that in. What most people don't know, I've talked about that, so you can go catch that video as well. And I will update some of those because let's face it, sometimes they're good for 6 months, sometimes they're good for 6 years. And I want to make sure that you stay informed because I am not the Chamber of Commerce. I want to be honest with you, and I want you to be happy here because I think Charlottesville is awesome, and that's why I've stayed here. That's why I raised my family here and why I came back here. So hit subscribe, tap the bell, shoot me an email, give me a call. Let's see if we can make living in Charlottesville part of your future.